It's all about supply, really, in the housing market. We've got to boost supply. I think you've got to give the government credit, or the new government credit, for very ambitious plans, taking us kind of new levels of house building we haven't seen since the 1970s. But clearly it's a long-term plan. But I think it's really important that some of the proposals that are in place today, we see through the planning reforms, but we've also got to boost the demand side for property as well, not just to make sure homeowners can buy these new homes, but make sure that housing associations and other corporate investors are there to support the delivery of more supply with more demand for new build property.
We know that this has been a problem for many, many years, and it's understandable what you're saying, that we might not see this fixed with just one parliament term. But ultimately, can these new measures actually make a difference when it comes to first-time buyers and ultimately to housing prices? Can these actually come down?
I think it's debatable whether massively we'd have to really increase supply, almost more than planned, to bring house prices down. But I think it's really important that the government sends this big macro message to everyone, to house builders, to homeowners, to people that might oppose development, that we're serious about building more properties. We've got to open up the amount of sites that we're developing, not just on greenfield, but also on brownfield. But so it's a big, important message of intent. It's important we get these planning reforms through. We need to make sure there's enough people to build these homes, as well as making sure builders can see low risk in sales from both homeowners but also corporate investors buying affordable but also private rented property.
Yes, ultimately I would like to ask you exactly about that. What is basically the benefit for some of these house builder names to actually being forced to build more? Because one of the criticisms that they've received in the past is that if they don't build as much as we actually need as a society, then they can charge more.
Well, it's all about broadening out the supply. I mean, I think that typically the house building industry is accounting for about 1 in 10 housing sales each year. At the end of the day, the demand for housing is all back to the strength of the economy, how much incomes are rising, where mortgage rates are, and there are some big affordability constraints, hence my point about we've got to make sure we build a broader range of product. So I think we need to make sure the demand is there and the buyers are there, and I think we will see this broadening in what's offered, and you're seeing it in what some of the builders are announcing about their strategies, about broadening, having more partnership development, trying to de-risk schemes rather than the sort of 100% or very high levels of requirement on speculative housing, and seeking as high a price as possible to drive the bigger viability of the overall site.
Ultimately, there's this consolidation we're seeing in the sector with Barratt and Redrow and others looking at this as well. Can that actually make a difference for first-time buyers, or having fewer players will only make the housing crisis even deeper?
I think the consolidation will hopefully lead to more output, and we need to then make sure small builders, SME builders as they're called, maybe we can relax planning rules for them to make their life easier. We need to encourage housing associations and the public sector to take a more active role in development. The answer is getting more people interested in bringing land forward, but also then building more homes, which will benefit everyone, first-time buyers, homeowners, but also we're desperately short of supply in the private rented market, and the number of social homes in this country hasn't changed for 20 years. So we need to grow supply on all fronts, and actually it's everyone's responsibility, not just one group of listed house builders.